Now that we've discussed the basics, now we start to move to actual monsters. I didn't bring this up last time, but what's my source for all this? This phone book. Oh, and a reminder for posterity, I'm playing on Death March. Now let's talk about some monsters. We start with the first enemy we encounter, ghouls. Ghouls feed on corpses, so they're seen wherever corpses pile up, like battlefields for instance. Ghouls mostly hunt in groups, and the groups are the real danger of ghouls. A good flank or a poorly timed dodge could spell a reloaded save. When ghouls get low on health, they'll go into a frenzy and attack with reckless abandon. While Necrophage Oil is the only true weakness, Yrden can be a valuable ally in slowing down the advance, as well as other signs like Igni and Ard. Next up, I'm pairing two enemies together. Wolves and wild dogs act very similar to each other. They both only have one weakness, Beast Oil, and both travel in packs that coordinate with each other to time each other's attacks, to never let up and give you no time to catch your breath. The prime tactic is to hear them with your Witcher Senses, then dash in and hit them hard and fast so they can't group up, and go after the higher level pack leader, while also staying mobile so they can't form up against you. And probably just as common as dogs are bandits, which I'm also pairing with Scoia'tael and other non-humans, who stay in groups. Ignore or get behind shield users using signs to be a thorn in their side, and watch out for the game's final boss, off-screen archers. Now where there's water, there's drowners. Drowners burrow and try to ambush you on sight, so use Igni for a solid stun on them. Drowners are highly resistant to poison, probably something to do with staying in swamps. And they are the most prominent enemies you fight underwater, of which your only real tool to fight with is crossbows. Maybe that's something they can work on in the next Witcher games. Water hags, ooh boy, can I show this on YouTube? Anyway, water hags can sometimes show up in tandem with drowners, although not guaranteed. They can swim through mud so they can be surprisingly fast, and they can blind you by throwing said mud, like the bloopers from Mario Kart. A solid tactic is using Igni to stun, then using a Northern Wind Bomb, and rushing in for heavy damage while she's frozen. Neckers are your first encounter with Ogroids. I'm not proud to admit that I thought they were necrophages my first time fighting them. They show up as, say it with me, in groups, in dark woods and mist-filled valleys, and they're most like a Zerg rush for the people that play StarCraft, attacking swiftly and incessantly. Ard helps with crowd control, Yrden slows them down, and Northern Wind to light them up afterwards. Next up, we take on the dead with raids. Raids can show up as one or multiples from 3 to 6, in cemeteries or recent battlefields. They're your first strongly magical enemies, so Moondust and Yrden are your strongest allies here, with a strongly boosted Axii helping you out on the side. And I don't know how much this will come up to play, but they are the strongest on moonless nights, although I wouldn't recommend staring at the sky every night to decide whether to tackle a fight or not. A stronger version of Wraiths are Noon Wraiths. Finally, an enemy that doesn't show up as a mob. Noon Wraiths, after some damage, can summon decoys while performing a life-stealing dance. Use bombs or crossbows for the decoys. Yrden can be your best friend in these fights, right beside Moondust. And I think there's something about them being stronger during the day, I don't know. Bears are super simple enemies, but that doesn't mean they're easy. A lot of the times you see bears, you have the time to move around and not get into a fight. We are on the highest difficulty here, so discretion can be the better part of valor. But should you fight, they hit and they hit hard. So use Quinn and stick to their flanks. Once they get their massive paws on you, it can spell an immediate game over. We'll top this off with Griffins, the endgame of White Orchard, and by far the most complex, meaning the enemy where you can use the most tools. Griffins like to play with their food, so they fly and try to pick you off from high. To counter this, use a crossbow or a well-placed Ard sign to knock them to the ground, where the actual fight begins. Griffins sweep with claws that cause bleeding, which can be paused with Quinn or healed with potions like Swallow. With too much space, they will tackle you, so don't be afraid to get up close and personal, or use Grape Shot to stun them for a crucial moment. Or both. I try not to judge. Oh, that's a lie. And that's all the enemies you fight in White Orchard. I think. I could be missing one here or there. So join me next time as I tackle the choices made in this simulated save. So maybe subscribe so you don't miss that. In the meantime, you should go watch that Skullgirls video I made. I hear that's what cool people do, and you want to be cool, don't you? They're so fucking dumb.